Wait, they were like, what?
And I was like, boss, please. Hey, bosses. Welcome back for another Boss Confidential. I am Jillian. You are Meghan. Jinx.
You owe me a... Nope. I'm
No,
just
you
kidding.
bought me
I was going to say
Starbucks
Starbucks, but we both
You
have our
don't owe me
Starbucks.
So I want to talk about something a little bit serious
Yeah,
today.
let's get serious.
Since this has both happened to us, I feel like it's something that should be addressed, and I'm sure many of our listeners have the same feeling. When you are asked to go on a job interview, or you're asked to have a meeting with somebody, and you are told that you need to bring ideas to pitch, and then you don't get the job, and then a couple weeks later you see that this company has moved forward with an idea that you pitched. How do we protect ourselves from that? Because
are you reading a paragraph from my memoir?
I just feel like
you just took that from my life.
And like we sort of like have talked about this, you know, in our texts, on the phone, whatever. But like even, you know, outside of the entertainment industry, like say, you tell a coworker about an idea and then they pitch the idea as their own. It's like the same thing. So how do we protect ourselves?
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know, because nowadays, you're not anybody unless you can bring something to the table, unless you can come with ideas. And then when you come with these ideas, like this literally happened to me multiple times, but you come with ideas and then they seem to like it. They seem to love you. And then they ghost. Basically, it's like dating. They ghost. And then, yeah, like you said, you look up and all of a sudden, oh, there's my idea just flying on by. And there you go. But it's so hard because if you come to an interview or you come to a meeting without these ideas, there's no chance either. So it's a catch-22. And it's like, how do you win?
I have faced this before myself. And I think that one of the tactics that a lot of people use is when they're walking you back to the elevator or back out to the lobby, and the person that was interviewing you said, "You were amazing. You're definitely going to hear from us." And then they ghost you.
Yeah.
But like that, I think that stings extra hard when they're like, oh my God, clearly they know the meeting went well. Like, you know, your feelings are valid. Like, oh my God, I killed that.
Yes.
Yeah, like I did an amazing job. Yes. And it really hurts when you look at, you know, their page or whatever else and you see like, oh my God, that's exactly what I told them to do. Mm-hmm. So I had been talking about this on Twitter actually, because it got me really upset because I'm finding more and more, and this goes for male and female, not just targeted at females, that this is happening over and over again. So bringing it back to the beginning, how do we protect ourselves? So I have a former coworker who was actually reaching out to a lawyer to ask if before you take these meetings, you can actually sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, that's
that
smart.
says these ideas, you know, you can't copyright ideas. You can't protect them.
Right.
But at least you have, you know, the backup of anything discussed in this meeting should remain confidential. And if they can't agree to those terms, then it might not be the company that you want to meet with.
See, I don't know if they'll agree with those terms because I feel like companies nowadays, they expect it to be the opposite. They say, you're walking through our doors. Anything you say in this building belongs to us, because that's exactly how it was at a former company I was with.
But unless you sign something that says that, it's inadmissible.
It's hard. Because I got in trouble at a former company because I had pitched something. They turned it around. They didn't really do it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it on my own. And then I got in trouble because it's something I pitched there, which I guess I knew I was kind of indirectly being slimy, but I didn't mean to. It's just I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. They stopped production of it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. And I don't have the audience that this company had. So it wasn't
But then, like, when you go into these meetings or, you know, you talk to somebody about your concept or your idea, do you not reveal the whole story to them? Because, like, I know when, just for instance, when my, like, fiance is pitching a script, they have a deck that they show people.
Right.
You know, it's not, it's their concept. And then if they want to learn more about the project, then they have them sign an NDA and they give them the script.
See, that's how it should be done. So this is what I think. I think in order for, I think when you go, okay, how do I put this? When you go into a meeting and it's just an idea, people don't see that as any form of groundwork, even though it is. I mean, you came up with the idea. It's a brilliant idea, but they just look at it as, like you just said, an idea, and they take it and run with it. I think the difference is I think the only way to kind of go about this is if you have this idea, you got to start it on your own. Kind of like all these influencers, all these YouTube stars, they had an idea, they did something about it, and now companies are reaching to them.
Right.
It's like you can't be a nobody and walk in and have this idea and expect them to reach back out to you to get this idea done. Because in their mind, they're like, oh, well, we're this big company. We don't need her unless you come with 100,000, 200,000, a couple million followers. That's what the problem is these days. It's almost like if you're a little person, you gotta, if you're small, like, what am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say.
If you feel small.
If you feel small, like, you don't have to be small. But if you feel small, just start it on your own, because maybe it will catch the attraction of someone else.
So then here's a flip.
Okay.
So if you're a journalist and you're pitching ideas to an editor, which is what a lot of people do. They send cold emails. I'd love to cover this story. Here's how I would cover it. Here's who I would interview. They don't get an email back, but then you see that the exact story was done with another writer.
You have to figure out a way, or you have to figure out what makes you different. What do you bring to the table, and how could you do it differently that no one else could? I don't know. I'm frustrated.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, especially it happens everywhere, obviously. And then, too, like when a coworker, takes your idea and presents it as their own. I feel like many of us are not confrontational.
Yeah.
Especially in a workplace, because you want management to be happy with you all the time, and you don't want to be seen as a problem, even though somebody else is stealing your idea and calling it out as their own. So I don't know, how would you deal with that situation in a workplace specifically, if like you told somebody something and then they presented it as their own?
Well, as you were talking, I was just having flashbacks, because this was like an episode of Good Trouble. I think Mariana had this idea, maybe, or I don't know, whatever, and but she is so bold, and she, I believe, like, called the people out, and it's hard. It's hard when you're a non-confrontational person, because you definitely feel walked on. I don't know what I would do in that situation, because then it's almost like if you confront, or you go to your boss and say, this was actually my idea, then it's like, bosses don't care sometimes. As long as they have the idea, they don't care who it came from.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's like you're just bringing drama. So it's so hard. It's so hard.
I tend to, I don't know.
I guess you can't talk to your coworkers about ideas.
Yeah, so I have like a thing where I really try to maintain a professional relationship with the people that I work with. I don't tell them about my personal life. I don't tell them about, like, I'm never the person that's like, hey, what do you think about this? I just am like, I'm pitching it myself. Like, I don't really ask questions to other people unless it's somebody outside of the workplace that I know is not going to be. But, like, I don't think I would ever go to a coworker and say, hey, what do you think of this idea? Here's how I would flesh it out. Just because I know from how many times I've been burned that that's not the right path to take, because everyone is trying to climb up the ladder, which is fine. And not everybody is terrible. I've worked with some amazing people who are free thinkers, and they come up with their own concepts and everything else. But I am a big like karma person, because I really do feel like if you do something bad, it's going to come back, no matter, we don't know what form it's going to come back in, but it will get you. So I'm sort of like the silent the silent assassin. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, gosh, you're going to get yours. Like, that's fine. Take this idea. Hope. Yeah. Like, you be the hero now, but like, I know you're the villain. And then I just learn. And we all know that life is about lessons. So we're curious to know, has this ever happened to you? Have you guys had ideas stolen, whether it be in an interview process or in the workplace? And how do we make this better for everybody?
We have to come up with something. We have to band together, because if our younger generation was able to get paid for their internships, we can certainly figure out a way to keep our own ideas.
Yes. Yes, we can. If you have any ideas, please let us know. Reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're here to chat with you and open up the conversation. And until next time, we will see you later.
Bye. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Boss Please Pod. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. Navigate the path to your best self with us, because bossing together is always better.